Welfare mothers, and the children too, feel that they are on a dead-end street. That the way things are, there's not enough money and no way to hold up your head. And so they've begun what amounts to a welfare revolt.
You look on TV and you see that poor little kid from another nation. Oh, he looks so pitiful. I feel so sorry for him. But I can't overlook the fact that we have poor little kids in this nation.
Mrs. Etta Horn is a leader of the welfare rights movement. Their principal...
Hey, what's going on, Doc family? If this is your first time to the channel, man, please like, comment, and or subscribe. I do re-engage with the people that engage with the channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the support. We're gonna get in a somber video, but we're gonna it's used for educational purposes, and this goes all the way back to 1967, and we're talking about essentially not figuratively, but literally replacing the father in the home.
And their overwhelming complaint is that there simply is not enough money to raise a family, and then that it's given in a self-defeating and self-perpetuating way, that it degrades the people who receive it.
I have children. I look in my kids' face and I think, am I going to really prove to them where it starts at? You know, they're always screaming about delinquents. American Welfare Department makes delinquents.
Now, I want to do this piece as someone representing as a welfare baby, for lack of better terms. My mother was a hardworking woman. She was an independent woman. She just was on welfare to take care of her two boys at the time. Now, when they say something like delinquent, that's exactly what the majority of these children underneath this program is designed to become. Not to say that everybody will become that, but it's designed, it's by design to become a delinquent. No father in the house to guide you, to guide the family, to guide instructions, to lead the house, to raise young men, to be there for your daughter. None of that. Just in exchange for some money that doesn't do much for you, doesn't stretch out. I've been in those hungry moments. Let's go.
There is an evil system around.
Martin Luther King believes that welfare is part of that system, damaging to black and white alike.
Will not get right until this evil system is removed, because as I have listened and as I've looked and as I've lived in the ghetto, I've seen what this evil system has done to my brothers and my sisters. I've seen how it has left little children with clouds of inferiority formed in their little mental sky. I've seen how this evil system has transformed nice, decent young women into prostitutes. I've seen how this system has transformed nice, decent young men into dope addicts trying to escape the ugliness of their daily life.
This video was done in approximately around 1967. It's 2025, y'all. We still got dope fiends. We still got prostitutes. Nothing has much changed. Progress has been made in different areas, but not this one. Not this one. Was this the plot all the way along? Let's hear some more.
Maria Ortiz and her children, Hilda, Juanita, Antonio, Pedro, in their New York apartment. Mrs. Ortiz gets her welfare check under the Aid for Dependent Children program. It comes to about $117 every 2 weeks, about $3,000 a year. Not enough to pay the rent, feed and clothe the kids, and provide the diet that the doctor has told Mrs. Ortiz she needs. Another child is on the way, but the father of her children has deserted her. The fact that governs everything else in Mrs. Ortiz's life is money, or the lack of it. Her inability to give her children the things they need. But Mrs. Ortiz is comparatively fortunate. She lives in New York, which has one of the highest welfare standards in the country. Some places, Mississippi and some other southern states in particular, keep welfare recipients at the edge of starvation. 30 cents a day for each child in some areas, 50 cents a day in others. In those last days before the welfare check arrives, the children subsist on what their mother bought 2 weeks previously, mainly cereal, sometimes potatoes. Mrs. Ortiz, with 4 children and a 5th on the way, is probably beyond the point of marriage. The men she meets rarely earn more than $80 a week. If she marries, her welfare check would most likely be cut off. The men cannot support her, and therefore they cannot marry her. At age 20, she may already be permanently consigned to the welfare rolls. The problems of the Ortizes are similar to those of welfare families in other cities. Los Angeles, Denver, Chicago, Detroit.
I have never received my check on time. Now, they say they put them out, but now like yesterday, it's supposed to have been here yesterday, and it didn't arrive, and I'm waiting today for it. Now, 2 weeks ago, it was supposed to have been on a Friday, so it didn't arrive. So I waited Saturday until the mailman went by, still no check. So I called down there for emergency order, like they told me to. There is no such thing as emergency order on a weekend. So in other words, my children went without food from Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, until Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Unfortunately, as a welfare baby, I've been and seen this situation a few times where we've been unfortunately went a few days, couple days without any food because you know, the amount, although not that low as of in the 60s, the amount we got was not enough to raise you know, 2 growing boys, you know, where we're eating mom out of house and home, you know, growing as teenagers and things like that, you know. Those days are rough, and I feel for even back then. That is just the ultimate trap.
Mrs. Jane Wilson is a Detroit welfare mother. The premise of the ADC program is simple, that children without visible means of support must be aided by the state. But to be eligible, a mother and her children must be without a man in the house.
Well, my husband left me in September, and then I went down to the emergency shelter, welfare shelter, and then I had to go through the welfare, fill out all these papers, drag all 5 kids on the bus, go down there, sit there and wait for 3-4 hours until they come around to you. I felt like the lowest thing on earth when I went to the welfare. I felt like they were all better than me, that they could walk all over me, which I got down on my hands and knees to them and begged them for coats and boots for these children at wintertime. I actually got down on my hands and knees, and you can ask anybody down at that office. I actually got down on my hands and knees and begged them. And you know what? And when I went down there, sure, they gave me the coats and boots. Sure, after you get down on your hands and knees and you beg, that's the only way you're going to get anything from the welfare. And to this day, I have never gotten anything from the welfare for myself.
Breakfast in the home of Carol King, a Cleveland welfare mother with 9 children. On the days before the welfare check arrives, there is half an orange for each child.
Here, Matt.
Mrs. King has become involved in the welfare rights movement because she feels she doesn't get enough money to raise her family. She gets less than 80 cents a day for each of her children. The Ohio legislature approves only 3/4 of the amount that the state welfare department felt was a minimum necessity in 1959.
What's the matter?
The rise of ADC recipients in the last 6 years has been particularly dramatic among Negro families in the northern ghettos. Giving aid only when a husband is absent pushes the man out of the house. His presence is an economic hardship, and a whole class of women and children are growing up in the northern ghettos knowing neither husband nor father, only dependence on welfare. Life on welfare means waiting in line for food stamps, as for everything else. After getting her welfare check each month, Mrs. King's first stop is a food stamp center in the heart of Huff, Cleveland's Negro ghetto. She pays $110 for $158 worth of food stamps, which must be spent only on food. The idea is that the state guides the spending of welfare mothers, and the women resent the implicit moral judgment that they don't have the capacity to care properly for their children.
We are bitter because we are faced with trying to raise children without money. People on welfare, if they had money enough to at least exist on, I'm not saying, because I don't have a college diploma, that I should have, $300 a week, but I'm saying that people on welfare have a right to a decent living in a rich country like America. And, like we can always, send charity overseas, and it's, for years, we've been in poverty as a country. And that I'm concerned with, a country that, gets concerned with hunger in India, but's not concerned with hunger in the United States. They talk about planning for the future. You have to first have something to plan with. You don't plan a meal, unless you got, something to eat. And you don't plan a future unless you have something to plan with. And this is what, society's going to have to face. They're talking about future America. And, our kids are part of that future society. And, and to deprive them from the time that they're, babies, now they say, work with 16-year-olds. That's crazy. 16-year-old, it's too late.
Some may say, why don't these women just get a job? Why don't they stop having children? But God says we should be fruitful. And also, you see that they said it's a financial burden if the man is around. So the man was forced to leave, incentivized to leave, so that the family can do well. Please, let's do better. Let's break the cycle. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for the support. Until next time, take care of each other. Be safe. Long live Pooh Beer. Long live D-Mac. Inglewood, though.